Hey guys, welcome back to Sparkman Homestead. I am in the kitchen today. I'm gonna get to finally dealing with my potatoes. They are starting to sprout a lot. So I decided that today, on this gloomy day, that today was gonna be the day that I was gonna deal with this 50-pound box of potatoes. I have been using some of them fresh, which has been nice. I've been able to make mashed potatoes and stuff. I have said this many times. I have yet to master the mashed potatoes with my canned potatoes, but I will learn. So I have 3 preservation projects that I want to do with this 50-pound box. Initially, I was just going to can that whole 50 pounds, but then I got thinking, and there's a couple of things that we actually love to have with potatoes that I currently do not have in my freezer, and because we are in the pantry challenge, I'm actually not going to be buying any of this. So the 3 things that we're going to get done today is we're going to get some canning done. So I'm going to use this cookbook, at least I think I'm going to use this cookbook. I'm just trying to find the recipe right now. I know I've used it before. White potatoes right here. So it's on page 394. I know a lot of you are rebel canners, and I myself am a little tiny bit, not a lot of bit, just a little tiny bit of a rebel canner. But one thing that I haven't done is I have not tried to dry can potatoes. I have heard from so many people that it is delicious and it's an easy way to can potatoes. I've not tried it, and today is not going to be the video where I'm going to show you how to do it. We're going to use this cookbook, which it does require them to be put into water, so it's not a dry canning. I'll show you what they look like after they've been canned. That's not a good example. These I canned in April of 2025. Now you can see that there's some starch on that. We're going to try to get some of that starch out. But it doesn't really affect the potatoes in here. It does look cloudy, but all I do when I go to use these is I just simply rinse them with cold water and they are perfectly fine to use. We have 5 pints left of our canned potatoes. That is definitely not going to be enough for us. So I need to get some more on my pantry shelf, which is why I bought the 50 pounds. So with this step, you actually need to peel and cut the potatoes and then wash them a couple times and then boil them. So we're gonna do that. I think I've done a couple of in detail videos on how I actually can them. If I can find those videos, I will leave them linked here for you guys. But the other 2 projects that I wanna get done with these potatoes is we're gonna make some freezer French fries. So French fries that I can just take out of the freezer and either throw in the oven or throw in my air fryer. And then the second thing that we're gonna do, or I guess it's the third thing, because the first thing we're canning. The third thing we're gonna do is we are going to make some freezer hash brown patties. So they're going to be a hash brown patty that has like cheese and all good stuff in it. So it's not going to be just like a cubed potato that I put in the freezer. It's going to be an actual like hash brown patty that we can fry up and then put on a sandwich with like some sausage. So I'm going to try to do that. I've never done that before. The hash brown one, I'm just kind of winging it, so I don't have a set recipe to link for you guys, but I will leave the ingredients that I am using to make these hash browns. I'll leave them in the video details for you guys. So I guess what we need to do is we need to get some of these peeled. For the French fries, I'm actually going to leave the skins on. Now we are using a white potato. When you are canning potatoes, it is actually recommended that you use either a white or a red potato. They advise you not to can russet potatoes just because that potato tends to be a little bit more starchy than these, and you will get a really cloudy potato that has a lot of starch in it. And when you're canning potatoes, as I showed you with my canned potatoes, you don't want that much starch in the water. I think that's why a lot of people have been recommending to do the dry canning, because apparently you don't get all of that starch in there, but I'm just not comfortable with it. I have not done it before, and I'm not really wanting to learn and experiment right now when I really need to get potatoes on the pantry shelf. I'm not willing to waste anything right now because number 1, we're in the pantry challenge, and number 2, I don't like food waste and I don't have a lot of money to be experimenting with recipes right now. So we're gonna stick to what I know, stick to what I've done before and what we like to eat. We don't mind them being canned that way. So let's get started on peeling potatoes. 50 pounds of potatoes we're going to peel. Actually, not 50 pounds, because again, we're going to leave the peelings on some of them. Okay, so I have 3 somewhat big stainless steel bowls. I'm going to sort all of my stuff out. The main thing that I want to make is the canned potatoes, so that's probably what I'm going to use a majority of these potatoes for. And then I would like to get at least a couple packs of the French fries in the freezer. We don't eat a lot, but that might be because we don't really have a lot of them. I don't really buy French fries because I don't like all the additives that they put in it. And it's fairly easy to make it yourself. You just kind of gotta dedicate a little bit of time to do the project. What I'm doing right now is I'm just snapping off all of these sprouts like this. It's just a little easier to peel them when you don't have the sprouts. So I'm gonna leave the really, really big potatoes. I'm gonna leave those for my French fries because I'm gonna just slice them nice and big. We like the steak cut fries, so I'm gonna cut them that way, but if you're making this, you can cut them however your family likes them. If you like the crinkle fries, do it that way. If you like cottage fries, you can also cut them that way. Oh, some of them are starting to go bad. That's not good. I did not realize that. You don't want to have the bad potatoes in there because it's kind of like an apple, one bad apple. It starts to turn the bunch. So you want to get the bad ones out of there. Alrighty, got the box empty. So I've sorted them out into 3 bowls. This is going to be my hash brown bowl. So for the hash browns, I've decided to use the really small potatoes because we actually just have to grate these and some of them are soft, and I just thought that that would be a good option to do for the hash browns. And then we're going to can this many. I don't know how many this is. I have not weighed any of them. And then for the French fries, I've selected all of the bigger potatoes. So let's get the French fries done first. Those we have to peel, slice, and blanch and then get into the freezer. The hash browns, we actually have to peel and, oh no, the French fries, I said I wasn't gonna peel. Okay, that's fine. We'll have one peeled French fry. So yeah, that's why I want to get these ones done first because they're going to be the quickest one. We can get them in the freezer quickly. And then the hash browns, we have to peel and then cook and then grate those. So let's get the easiest project done first. Move my compost bin out of the way. We're just going to wash all of these really good. I'm going to rinse this bowl out because I'm going to put the potatoes in here. I'm actually going to put some cold water in here. And then we'll put the sliced potatoes in there so that they don't go brown. I'm just going to clean these really good. Went and got my big stock pot. We need to blanch these before they go in the freezer. You do not want to skip that step. So I'm going to get some water in this pot and then get this pot on the stove top and get it boiling. So once we get those fries sliced, you can just throw them right into the boiling water and get them on the cookie sheets, which we'll get out right now. I have my cookie sheets lined with these silicone mats. You can use parchment paper if you want also. Okay, get that turned on high, get that boiling. Now we can finish washing these. We're gonna get our fries cut. Now, like I said before, we're gonna do steak cut fries. If you have a fry cutter, you could also use that. That would be really quick and easy. But we are gonna, maybe that's a little too thick. I was gonna leave them like this, but that might be just a touch bit thick. I might make them a little bit smaller than that. Yeah, that's good. We're gonna cut them like that. And then we're gonna put them into this cold water. I don't have ice in it, but if you want, you can definitely put ice into it. The thicker ones, I'm gonna just cut into smaller pieces. We got all the fries chopped up. So I'm gonna take my really big strainer. Guys, I found this at a antique mall and I think I paid maybe $10 for it, maybe $15, but look at how big it is. I'm going to use this for my outside gardening, but for right now, this is going to be perfect for my inside projects. So I'm just gonna dump these fries in here because I want to rinse them off and get some of this starch off. Our water is fully boiled now. I actually had to turn it off. I'm gonna get some more cold water in here because once the, I can't see me, once the fries are done blanching, we're gonna add them back to this cold water and let them sit in there for the same amount of time that we blanch them. This just helps get some of that starch off of them. All right, our water's boiling. I'm gonna take a good handful of these and gently put them in the water because I don't want to burn myself. Try to do this in 2 batches. So we're going to set the timer for 3 minutes, and then after the 3 minutes, we're going to take them out of here and put them directly into that cold water for another 3 minutes. We're not trying to cook these. What we're just trying to do is make sure that when we're freezing them, they don't turn brown. This kind of just preserves the colors. Whereas with the hash browns that we're going to make, we're going to actually somewhat cook the potato because we're going to grate it, and you kind of want the potato to be cooked. I'm trying to decide if I want to make a hash brown patty with them or if I want to make little like tater tot sizes that we can just throw into the air fryer or the oven. I'm thinking that we would probably enjoy them more tater tot than hash browns because we don't really eat a lot of hash browns. I don't know. Timer just went off, so we're going to scoop these out. Drain, try to get most of that hot water off, and we're going to put them directly into our cold water bowl. I don't really have any ice made right now, so normally you would want to put ice in that because you'd want the water to be very, very cold because you need to stop the cooking process right away. I'm wondering if this would be easier to get these out. No, it's not. I need a really big scoop to grab these out. You know what? I might have one. I have one hidden in my canning drawer. There we go. Ooh, this water's getting warm, so I need to get some ice cubes in there. I think I've got a couple in my freezer. Before I put that other batch to blanch them, I'm just gonna get a beach towel put on my kitchen table. I'm gonna take these fries that have been sitting in this cold water and we're going to lay them on this beach towel, and we want to dry them a little bit because we don't want them to be sopping wet when we go to put them in the freezer. Just going to lay them. I did this the wrong way. Whoopsie. I need this part. There we go. Trying to get them in a thin layer. Just pat dry them, and we will get our other batch put into the water. This was supposed to be the quicker of the projects. We have all of the fries over there drying off right now. I want to season my French fries with my all seasoning blend, but I realized that I am running extremely low on it. I will not have enough to do that batch. So we're gonna make up my really quick all seasoning blend. It's not like a salt blend, it's the seasonings that I use the most when I cook. So I just combine them all together, and that way when I'm doing things like roasted potatoes or chicken, I just have to take this and pour it on top of whatever I'm making. I think I've actually showed you guys how I make this in my seasoning video, but I'm gonna do a really quick version here. So I have a quarter, what is this? This is 1/3 cup. Doesn't fit in here. We'll just pour it in. So I have some garlic powder, and then 1/3 cup, and I don't care if some of it gets out of here. This is just so that I can get things kind of approximate. So 1/3 cup of garlic powder, plus a little extra that overspilled. 1/3 cup of dried mustard. So this is just a ground mustard. 1/3 cup of onion powder. Whoops. Okay. Maybe 1/2. Whoopsie. 1/3 cup of smoked paprika. I am aware it is overfilling into this, and I'm fine with this because this is just really, I eyeball everything and it's so approximate. This isn't an exact recipe that needs exact measurements. And then I'm gonna do maybe 1 tablespoon of cumin powder. And we need 1/3 cup, not quite a full 1/3 of salt. I'm just using a pink Himalayan salt in this. You can use whatever you have. Actually, we might not, maybe, we might not do a full 1/3. Probably did a 1/4 cup. And then we'll do the same with black pepper. We'll do about a 1/4 cup of black pepper. So I have a somewhat big bowl. It's more of a medium-sized bowl. We're gonna take some of our fries. They're still a little wet. They're not bone dry, but that's okay. We just wanted to get some of that moisture off. And we're gonna add a little bit of avocado oil to this, just maybe 1.5 tablespoons. And then we're gonna add some of our all-purpose seasoning. I'm gonna say maybe 2 tablespoons. And we're just gonna toss these. We don't want them too coated with the seasoning blend. And if you don't like those seasoning, you can just do whatever oil you have available or whatever oil you use, and you can do salt and pepper with this. It's just nice to pre-season the fries. So you just wanna lightly coat them like that. You're gonna need a lot more baking sheets. And then we're gonna put them on the baking sheet and put these in the freezer to dry. Or not dry. Put them in the freezer to freeze. I'm gonna try to make them somewhat of a thin layer. You just don't want them to freeze together. That's the whole purpose of flash freezing them, so that you don't get a huge clump of French fries. All right, we got 2 trays going in the freezer, and I'm gonna have to find some more cookie sheets. We don't have a lot. Time to get the tater tots or hash browns, whatever you want to call them. We're gonna get them started. So I have just peeled all of these little potatoes. So in order to get this project started, we need to parboil these potatoes. So because they are smaller, like these bigger ones probably would take maybe about 6 to 10 minutes, but these smaller ones, I'm thinking we're only gonna need maybe about 6 minutes. So we'll do 6 minutes. I'm just gonna add them to this boiling water. Again, be very careful not to burn myself. And then I'm gonna get some cold water, because as soon as we're done parboiling them, we're gonna add them right to that cold water for a little bit while we're, oopsie, lost a potato. The potatoes that we're canning, I'm starting to peel them right now because I want to make sure that they have some time in the water to get some of that starch off. We'll bring these to a boil, and then once they get to that boil, we'll start that 6-minute timer. I feel like I'm gonna be peeling potatoes for the rest of my life. Okay, so we are boiling. I'm gonna set the timer now for 6 minutes. Canning potatoes is such an easy project to do, but it is so time consuming when you peel the potatoes. Let's get these potatoes out of here into this cold water. Hopefully I didn't boil them too long. We don't want them to be mushy because we gotta grade them. I guess if they're too mushy, I can just use my potato ricer and just do that to make the tater tots with. They don't necessarily have to be grated. I want to get the potatoes that we are going to can sitting in some water. I have this stock pot filled with water. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut our potatoes and then add them to the stock pot and let them sit in that water while we get the other project done, because I want as much of that starch to get removed from them as possible. So when canning potatoes, you can can them whatever size you want to can them. Even the smaller potatoes, you could probably even get away with just canning those whole. I like to quarter my potatoes, so leave them this size. Also, when I go to use my potatoes, I just end up dicing them into the size that I want. So this potato is a bigger potato, so I'll end up cutting this a little bit more because I don't want the pieces to be too big in there. I also don't want them to be too small because they'll get mushy during the processing. I would definitely not recommend cutting them too small because, like I said, they'll get mushy. You do not want any of the peelings or any of the bad parts in the canning process. You want to make sure you have a fairly clean potato to can. All right, our pot is full and we still have a whole bunch of potatoes to cut. So I'm going to set this pot aside and get another bowl with some cold water in it. And we'll get a second bowl done. Probably will end up having to do 2 loads in my canner and run both canners because we're gonna be doing these in quart-sized jars. Oh, the sun just came out and I am loving it. The start of the day looked really, really gray, like we were gonna get some rainstorms, but I don't know if you can probably see the reflection in my glass, but oh, cloud just covered it. You guys got to enjoy it for the 2 seconds that I got to enjoy it. So I have some shredded cheese. We need a lot of shredded cheese to make these. We also need some melted butter. We need 1 cup of butter. So I'm going to take 2 sticks and we're going to melt them. And then we also need some sour cream. Just getting all my ingredients out ahead of time. We need salt and pepper and onion powder. Now, the recipe that I'm very roughly following, she actually uses grated onion in this. We're not going to use grated onion in this because Stephen wouldn't appreciate that. So we're just going to use some more onion powder just to make sure that we are getting that onion flavor. So I need to melt this butter. So I'm going to put it in a Pyrex dish and we are going to put it in the microwave. Or should we just do it on the stovetop? You know what? Let's just do it on the stovetop instead of the microwave. Get a pot out, and we need approximately 12 cups of grated potato. Hopefully we'll have 12 cups. Maybe I should measure that first before I get all of these other ingredients out. Okay, so I think what we're gonna do is we will grate the potatoes into this bowl. Still kind of hot, but that's okay. You could also use a potato ricer for this, but I'm gonna try to use the grater and see if that works a little bit better. And these are too mushy, like too soft for me to be able to use my food processor. Pretty much just turn them into mush. I gotta keep an eye on my butter because I don't wanna have brown butter. Let this melt and then we'll finish grating them because I do not wanna burn this butter. 1 cup is a lot of butter to burn. Butter is not cheap, especially during the pantry challenge when we're not buying any more. I measured it out and we have 18 cups. So I'm gonna get another half of a cup of butter melted. So we're gonna use 1.5 cups of butter. We're making a lot of tater tots. Here's this 1 cup that we've melted already. So we're just gonna add that in. And I'm kind of referencing a couple of different recipes, not just one recipe. So that's why I don't really have anything to link for you guys. Okay, and then so for the onion powder, because we're not adding onion into this, we're probably gonna add about maybe 3 tablespoons of onion powder into this. Because again, we have a lot of potatoes. Might even have to add a little bit more, but we'll start with that. There's our other 1 cup. Or not 1 cup, sorry, half of a cup. Okay, and then we'll add approximately 3 cups of cheese. I'm just using a shredded Colby Jack, I think it is. It's just a mix of different types of cheese. Probably go in with a tablespoon of salt and then half a tablespoon of pepper. And then we're going to use some sour cream. We're going to use this whole thing. So this is 16 ounces and we have about half in here. Stir this all together. Honestly, probably would be easier if I just use my hands. Ugh, I hate using my hands, but I think it'll be easier to get it all together. And these potatoes are now turning to mush. So you don't necessarily have to grate your potatoes. This smells really, really good though. Okay, I'm gonna add some more cheese because this is not looking like enough cheese. Wash my hands first. Let's just give it a taste test and see if our salt is good. That's really, really good. I'm gonna leave the salt out and I'm just gonna season them with salt when we go to have them. I don't wanna put too much salt in because then it wouldn't be very good, but I am gonna add more cheese. So in total for 18 cups of potatoes, I probably used about 3.5 cups of cheese in this. And the onion powder is good also, so we can put that away. Stir this in, and then we get to shape them. Now you can do patties with these. You can do rounds. I'm gonna do tater tot shapes because we love tater tots. I might save some for tonight to have for supper. let's go and check on our fries. Let's see if they're frozen enough that we can vacuum seal them, and then I can use those cookie trays to put these on. Got them in a couple of different freezers. Let's see. Yeah, I think they're frozen enough that we can put them into a vacuum sealer pack. I'm just gonna put enough in the bags so that it's one serving for us. And then if we have the kids here, then we'll just take 2 bags out. But I just don't want to put too many in a bag and then open it and then have to reseal it again after, because we didn't eat all of it. For one serving for both of us and then a little bit of leftovers. These are not completely frozen. They are just frozen enough that they're not going to stick together in the bag. We'll get these vacuum sealed and put into the freezer. So we have 11 bags of French fries, organic, homemade French fries. Yummy. This is going to be such an easy side dish to make one night. Perfect. So we're going to get these in the freezer, and then we will get those all started and put those in the freezer. Yay, we're at the halfway part. We've got one project done, and this one is almost done. Oh, I need this. Again, this is whatever you want to shape these into. I'm gonna try to do little tater tots like that. But you can shape these into patties if you want, however your family would like them. Try to make them all the same size. I'm just putting them on the cookie sheet so that we can do exactly like what we did with the fries, so we can flash freeze them. Otherwise, these would all stick together. Some are definitely bigger than others, and that's okay. So an hour later, we got them all shaped. This is the last sheet that has to go into the freezer. So we're gonna get started on canning the potatoes now. So I took my potatoes and I rinsed them and then put them in some fresh water, and we are going to parboil these potatoes exactly how we parboiled the other ones. You do not want to cook them because they continue to cook when you're pressure canning them, so you don't want to have them to be completely mush. So we're just going to parboil them. It says anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes in the canning book. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to err on the side of maybe the 2 minutes, so we'll go about 3 minutes. So once these get to a boil, we'll set the timer for 3 minutes. We'll immediately take them off, and then we will get them into our jars. I have some quart-sized jars in here, nice and warm, because we're pressure canning them. I can't bring them to temperature with the water, so you need to have your jars warm. We're going to get some water boiling because that's going to go over top of the potatoes, so everything needs to be hot. I'm going to get this put into the freezer. I'm going to go and get my canner, get that all set up and ready to go, and then we will get these potatoes canned. I will leave the more in-depth video of me canning the potatoes. This is just a very, very quick, brief overview. I more or less wanted to show you the fries and the tater tots with the potatoes because these are a fun way to preserve the potatoes. Like, this is amazing. These things taste almost like mashed potatoes. I can't recommend this recipe enough. What I will do is if I get some time, I will actually print out the ingredients that I use because honestly, I want to keep them for me for future reference because I want to duplicate this again, which I don't know if I'll be able to duplicate it because you've seen me just kind of randomly adding different ingredients in there, but I'll write down everything for you guys and then that way you can try these as well. But they smell amazing. Can't wait to have some. Sitting at my computer doing some work and I heard this bubbling away, so we need to set the timer for 3 minutes. Hopefully it hasn't been boiling for too long. Get this hot, get my water hot again. I got these jars in here ready to go. All right, we are gonna get these drained. I don't want to reuse this water because it has a lot of starch in it. So I'm gonna drain the water and refill this because we have some more we gotta boil. All right, so we're gonna get these potatoes in this hot jar. I'm gonna get a spoon because those potatoes are hot. We're gonna fill the jar up and we are not going to squish the potatoes down. We are just going to fill it like this. And we're gonna fill up to 1 inch headspace. I am definitely going to have to do 2 batches because that Presto canner does not fit as many quart-sized jars in it. They take 40 minutes to can. And I think that first load that we did was exactly 7 quarts. Now I'm going to take some hot boiling water and we are going to pour it over top of the potatoes, and we're going to pour it to 1-inch head space. We'll clean the top of these because we have some potatoes stuck to the top. And then we'll get these debubbled. Definitely do not skip this step because there is little bubbles hiding in the bottom. And then what you're going to do is just readjust the headspace. As soon as I debubbled that, I automatically lost some headspace. So I'll top it up once that water gets boiled again. We'll get our lids on now. Get our rings on to fingertip tight. These jars are very hot. And then we will get them put into our pressure canner. They are in there now. Gonna get our lid on. Press that shut. Get the temperature back up. We're gonna bring it up to pressure. Once it gets to pressure, we're gonna put our little doohickey on there, and we are gonna pressure can these for 40 minutes because we are doing quarts. If you're doing pints, it's 35 minutes. I'm really excited to get that 50-pound box of potatoes made into 3 different things. 3 things that we are going to love and 3 things that I don't have to buy at the grocery store and that will make very, very, very quick meals for nights like tonight where I've been canning all day and cooking and I don't really want to make supper. But now it's time to make supper. And we're in the pantry challenge, so you know I'm going to be making supper tonight. So that is going to be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I love showing you different ways to preserve stuff because it doesn't always have to be canning. I mean, canning is wonderful because it doesn't take up freezer space, but it's nice to have other options other than just the canned potatoes. So we're all done. Yay! And now I have to work through that stuff we just put in the freezer. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and I hope you have a great day or night whenever you're watching this, and I will see you on the next video. Bye guys! I just wanted to come back and show you guys. These have been sitting for about 24 hours. Now, some of them are cloudy, some of them are not cloudy at all. And we got a seal on all of them, so perfect. I'm gonna get these cleaned, like washed off, labeled, and then put into my pantry. But super happy with how many cans of potatoes we got for the pantry shelf.